So many notable players eligible for contract extensions this summer. Players like Leon Draisaitl, Mitchell Marner, Sidney Crosby, who is apparently about to sign a 3-year, $30 million extension with the Pens. And then there's another three we're going to focus on right now with Frankie Corrado, our NHL analyst, Brock Boeser, John Tavares, and Linus Ullmark. We're going to focus on these three players. And here's Frankie, and we're going to start with Brock Boeser, who's coming off his best season, Frankie, as you know, 40 goals, 73 points in 81 games. He was terrific for the Canucks. He's entering that final year of the deal, just over $6.5 million. If you're Jimmy Rutherford and you're Patrick Allvin, should this be your major priority at this point of the offseason?
I don't know if it's a major priority right now, Jay, but the Canucks have positioned themselves in a good way to get this done at some point because they've locked up their core players. You know, Miller's sticking around, Pettersson's sticking around. You got Hronek and Hughes done. You have another year of Thatcher Demko at $5 million. And all of a sudden, the Vancouver Canucks have really cleaned up their cap situation to the point where, you know, going into this season, if they could have found another suitor for Brock Boeser, they would have done that. You know, he was a player, you know, prior to the last 2 years before this one, he's around a point-a-game guy, but he was hurt a lot. Then he has 2 years where he's just over half a point a game, and all of a sudden, that $6.65 million, you're not getting the value out of that. But now last year, 40 goals like you mentioned, Brock Boeser at $6.6 million, it makes a lot of sense. And when you see some of the comparables of the contracts that are signed, you know, he probably still will live in that range. And that's okay for Vancouver because going into, you know, 2 seasons from now, they're not going to have to make any big decisions as far as how much they're paying the big money players. It's going to be working around the fringes of the roster, you know, the Pius Suitors of the world, those types of guys. So you're now in a good position to give Brock Boeser market value to stay on your team. Now you probably want to see what transpires here over the course of the year. Are you going to get the Brock Boeser that you had last year? The guy that was really good in the playoffs? Or are you going to get the guy that was, you know, from the 2 previous seasons? That remains to be seen, but the Canucks have positioned themselves well to pay Brock Boeser fair market value.
Frankie, we spend so much time talking about Mitch Marner's contract situation. We never talk about John Tavares' contract situation, and we don't talk about it especially in terms of a contract extension, and I don't really understand that personally myself, Frankie, because I feel like the entire fan base has been extremely disrespectful to this player. It blows my mind that he returned to his hometown. He signed a deal. He turned down bigger money elsewhere. He's done nothing but show up every night and play his heart out. He scored almost 30 goals last season, and the fan base wants him out of town after this deal is done. Now, he is turning 34 at the beginning of next season. Am I crazy to think that you wouldn't want to maybe extend him for 3 years like you're extending Crosby for 3 years in Pittsburgh?
Jay, the only difference is the Maple Leafs haven't won, and they've doubled down on this core, and John Tavares is a part of that core. At $11 million, he's a part of that core, and if you get him down to a more manageable number on an extension, he is still a part of the core group that hasn't won. So this is the question you have to ask yourself. Do you want John Tavares at, you know, whatever the fair market value is after this year? Is it $6 million? Like, I don't know what exactly that looks like because it's a unique situation. Yes, he's an aging player, but he still puts up points, but a lot of those points seem to be power play points, and, you know, he's not exactly a play driver. Regardless, I think if you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and realize that they were willing to walk away from Steven Stamkos, who won 2 Stanley Cups there, who was a captain, who did all the stuff that John Tavares does in Tampa Bay, took less money to stay, except he won twice. And they said, actually, no, we're going to move on. There's probably going to be, Jay, a fair market value or a market value for Tavares, and then there should be the Toronto market value, which should be significantly cheaper because they have not won with these core group of players. So to stick around in Toronto, it's going to have to be a heavy, heavy discount. If you want to make more money, there's probably going to be more elsewhere for you.
I guess just to follow up on that, Frankie, he's got a young family. He seems comfortable here. It is his hometown. It seems, would you be happy at $6 million for 3 years with John Tavares at age 35 going forward to age 38?
I would, Jay, to be honest with you, I would probably try and squeeze a little bit more. Like if it means that much to you, and we know that it hasn't really worked here because the team hasn't been able to get it done,
Yep.
it's like there's probably going to be a different role waiting for you, and it would have to be less money. Like, I don't know, if you just extend these guys, you know, now you're saying we really believe in this again and again and again. The contract's expiring. It's almost like your get out of jail free card. It's like it's over. You don't have to make the hard decision as far as trying to get a trade done and the no move clauses and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's kind of that, you know, it's that fork in the road where you say, are we really going to double, triple, quadruple down on this? Are we going to cut our losses and say, hey, listen, thank you for everything. It was awesome. And we're going to find a different route to go. Like, John has been a great soldier in Toronto, very good player, has never done anything wrong. The only thing he's a victim of is the fact that the group that he leads has not won. That is the only thing that John Tavares is a victim of in Toronto, because he has done everything else exceptionally well.
Finally, we've got Linus Ullmark, traded from Boston to the Ottawa Senators in the offseason, 1 year remaining on his deal. Should it be the Senators wanting to extend Linus Ullmark more, or should it be Linus Ullmark wanting the contract extension more with the Ottawa Senators?
That's it's a good question, Jay. I feel like it should be a little bit of a game of chicken between these two, and I'll tell you why. For the Ottawa Senators, they have committed to goaltenders. They committed to Matt Murray. They committed to Jonas Korpisalo. Ultimately, they had to find a way to get out of those two contracts. Now, Linus Ullmark comes over, and he's a former Vezina winner. He was really good in Boston. All signs would point to he's going to be good. Get this guy locked up. See if you can have a little, reassurance in net as far as what the future looks like. But when you look at the past, you almost say from Ottawa's point of view, let's see how this plays out. Let's just see how he fits. Let's see how the team plays in front of him, because maybe we just want to get a feel for what it looks like. And for Linus Ullmark, I wonder if he looks at things and says, okay, if I would like to get an extension done for sure, because, you're going to have, money locked in and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if you're Ullmark, you kind of want to see what the market looks like for goaltenders. Jeremy Swayman, his contract is up. Is he going to be getting a, $6.5 million? Probably very realistic. What does that number look like for Ullmark if he's on the open market?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's a little bit of a game of chicken between the two, but I think with this one, it's almost like you want to wait and see how things go before both sides commit to this long term.